Listening to Ron Siegel Radio on ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join us in welcoming our featured guest, Barbara Gipson, Meridian Capital. Welcome.
Well, I'm glad to be here, Ron. It's a pleasure meeting you, and you're a bundle of joy.
Glad to have you with us. Robert Mott, our LA International Wine Competition judge. He will be rolling in a little bit later this morning as well. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
I guess my friends got left out here.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Yeah, there they are. Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Of course, I do like to find something to celebrate every single beautiful day here. National Cherry Popsicle Day. Sounds like a good one. We can get a cherry popsicle, enjoy ourselves there a little bit. And moving right along. Markets a little bit volatile again. Got to watch out for what's going on here. We've seen some significant volatility. Yesterday when we signed off of our flagship station right here at ESPN, markets were up significantly. When they closed, they were on the downside. Today they opened up 400 points. Right now we're up under 200. We're up 182 points. Where will we close? Kind of hard to say that answer. We don't know where that's going to happen, but we do know there is extreme volatility in the markets. I wonder if what it has to do with volatility. I'm looking at some of the different numbers. I saw some interesting reports coming out, and I thought I'd share them with you this morning. Commerce Department reported orders for long-lasting goods rose 2%. That's basically they call durable goods, up 2% in July. They were expecting a 0.4% drop. Wall Street did not get that one right, as usual. The CBO, they lowered the GDP growth rate from 2.9% to 2%. Really? I wonder... Surprise! Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that also, especially being that in the last 5-6 years, almost every time we've seen numbers coming out of the administration, they've been off by about 50%. We better figure that out as well.
So I know who's asked to kick.
Yes, please do, Mr. President. I got to get some of these numbers right eventually. They keep modifying them. Did you catch any of the news over the last 24, 48 hours? I saw a little event that was going on there in Las Vegas. You know, I noticed the president likes to go to Las Vegas a lot. I don't get it, but, well, I do get it. I shouldn't say anything like that. Probably one of the most corrupt cities in the world, but that's just one person's opinion. Mine, and being that I run this, or host the show, I should say, I give my opinion a lot. President out there with the former misleader of the Senate. Again, one of my opinions, here's the term I have for the late...
You're absolutely useless.
Yeah, Harry Reid, you are absolutely useless. Mr. Reid out there bashing the Cook brothers. President decided to join in on that bashing of the Cook brothers early in the week. Then he's also talking, maybe, I don't know who he was referring to as Crazies. The president referring to people of Congress as crazies, and the rest of us who are of the belief that this deal that he's getting us into is the entrance to World War III. But that is just, again, the opinion of one radio host sitting right here. President bashing the Cook brothers and talking about their Reed being relentless on calling the Cook brothers shadowy billionaires. I quote him there, shadowy billionaires. Now, to me, that's an interesting comment, especially in light of the report that I shared with you yesterday about Tom Steyer. Yeah, you know Tom Steyer. He's the one who bought and paid for the President of the United States with his $150 million contribution to the President, and we've got nothing out of it. When we talk about energy efficiency, we talk about renewables, and all we got, and all the jobs that Mr. Steyer said we would get. Yeah, Mr. Steyer, he's the same one that made all of his money in oil, in gas, and in coal. And then he's talking about renewables and then giving $150 million to the President of the United States. And we're going to get a bunch of jobs, which turned out to only be consulting jobs. And now the President, we're supposed to listen to what he has to say about the Cook brothers who do what they say they're going to do. And Mr. Reed, who doesn't know how to do anything that he says he's going to do other than bash and harm the country. Interesting. Now, think about this one, and again, they talk about corruption, and I don't know anything about corruption. I'm not going to even make any accusations. I'm just scratching my head. Senate Democrat Menendez comes out against one of President Obama's plans, and less than a week later, he's indicted. I wonder why Mrs. Clinton does not say anything negative about anything that the president does. Do you think there could be any correlation there? Just saying. Moving into our state of lunacy, obviously, coming here from California, the state of confusion. I'm looking at national gas prices, $2.56 a gallon now. California, we like to pay more, $3.43 is the average in our state of confusion here. And I'm looking at online right now, oil prices $39.06. If there wasn't so much regulation, we would probably be under $2 a gallon, but we keep voting the same way. I'm going just from the AAA reports. I didn't go out and check all these places myself. You could probably imagine that. But then again, we do have, again, state of California, state of confusion. We like to tax. Our state legislator did just vote to increase our gas tax by 12.6 cents a gallon. We're not paying enough in gas taxes, so they decided that we should pay a little bit more, so they're going to increase the gas taxes. They're also looking at the idea of taxing us based on how many miles we drive. Like we don't have enough paperwork already, and they want to tax us more. So if you go out and bought that Prius, because they said it was a good idea to buy a Prius so that you wouldn't be using as much fossil fuel, but now they want to tax you for having done exactly what they suggested you do. Does that surprise anybody in the state of confusion?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Doesn't surprise me. How about our governor? Yeah, what's he up to these days? Urging CalPERS to speed up a rate hike. What would he talk about, a rate hike? Well, apparently CalPERS has not been funding their retirement as the governor thinks they should, and they've got unfunded pension liability. Well, maybe if they weren't spending hundreds of millions of dollars on elections that their people don't necessarily agree with, maybe they could put some of that money into the pension plans. Just a thought, but I doubt if we'll see CalPERS doing anything along those lines. Pensions, the state employee pension plans, unbelievable. Another one of those great things. If get them out of politics, we'd be in great shape. Another story on emissions. Yeah, Monday the president released a landmark ruling to combat global warming. Listen to an interesting gentleman the other day. He said that the global warming initiative is correct. He said we are increasing our temperature at 1/100th of a degree per year. 1/100th of a degree. That means by the time we get to the year 2115, we might have a 1 degree increase. How much money are we going to spend on that 1 degree increase? Good question. I don't know the answer, but if we get the president and our state legislature to have their way, we understand they will spend anything they can possibly take from us and the unintended consequences thereof. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, interesting question. What is the name of the country that has the second largest number of vineyards? I don't know. We're going to ask Robert Mott that. How do you decide when it's time to buy a house? How much money do I need to put down? We're going to talk about the Inland Empire and a house in Anaheim Hills for $415,000, and you might even want to live there. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
With more than 25 years of experience, ATI is a national leader in restoration, environmental remediation, and reconstruction. We're proud to be the nation's largest family-owned restoration contractor. ATI has over 700 full-time employees and 15 offices across the county. Our services include 24-hour emergency response, water damage, fire and smoke damage, lead, asbestos removal, mold remediation, and much more. When the need arises, call 1-800-400-9353. That's 1-800-400-9353. Do you have a loved one who wants to stay in their home, but you have health concerns about it? The Preferred Care Team understands the challenges of caring for your loved ones. Their goal is to keep seniors as independent as possible while maintaining their health, safety, and overall well-being. Whether you need just a few hours a week or 24-hour care, Preferred Care caregivers are trained to meet your needs. Call Preferred Care at 714-696-9150. That's 714-696-9150. Or visit preferredcare.com.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today brought to you by Commerce for a Cause, great organization. If you take credit cards, If you have a small business, paying a credit card processing fee, Commerce for a Cause, they matches the processing fee and give a 20% rebate to the nonprofit organization of your choice. Question today, how to know when the time is right to refinance your mortgage. Very, very simple. A lot of folks like to use a strict guideline. They say, well, 2% savings. Really? 2% down on the interest rate? Not likely to happen. Some will say 0.5% down on not likely to happen. Here's the real story of that. And I'm going to share with you a couple of issues. Number one, you need to know the numbers. You need to know what the closing costs are going to be. Always ask the closing costs. Even if they tell you that there are none, tell them you want to pay some. Ask what they are and find out what the difference is going to be if there's closing costs and not closing costs in your interest rate. Because there's always costs. Just a matter is, are they going to hide them from you? So you want to ask that question. Then look at how much the savings is between both. What is the break even? What is your time horizon? And always look at a 5-year, because we only keep our mortgages in this country 5.2 years. So look and see how that number relates to 5 years. Understand also, you will not pick the bottom of the interest rate market. You will not. It doesn't happen. It's like trying to pick the bottom of the stock market. That doesn't happen either. But understand that you need to take action. If you can save your family some money and it makes sense to do it from a dollars and cents standpoint, I don't care what the percentages are. If you want to walk through it on your individual scenario, give me a call. I'd be happy to help you. But if it makes sense for your family, take action. Don't wait for the interest rates to go down. I've been telling you, interest rates will go down. But what if I'm wrong? You cannot go to the day after the sale at Nordstrom. You can't go and ask them for the sale prices. It doesn't work. Prices went back up. But you can get a cost adjustment, right? So if interest rates go down 6 months from now, give a call to whoever helped you and say, you know something, I want to do it again. It makes sense for my family. We're going to save a little more money. Look at the numbers. You can always go later to the sale and get that cost adjustment. Same thing with your interest rates, with your mortgage. Yes, you have to go through the process again, but who cares? If it makes financial sense, it doesn't matter, but you cannot go backwards. If you don't do anything today and interest rates go up 2% tomorrow, and they always go up faster than they go down, you have to act. That is the Word on Wealth segment, again brought to you by Commerce for a Cause. Red wine means it is our Wednesday conversation with Robert Mott, LA International Wine Competition judge from beautiful La Quinta. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Ron. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. If we can get rid of some of this humidity, I'd be even doing better.
I know. It's been a little tough here the last couple of days, hasn't it?
Yeah, you're going to probably want to be getting up there to the Bay Area again so you can get some cool, calm weather.
Yeah, I think I'm heading up there next week.
Interesting. So I teased this a little bit in the opening segment because I had no idea what the answer is. The name of the country that has the second largest number of vineyards.
Yeah, this is a good one. I mean, this is one that even most, I'd say most wine geeks won't get the correct answer these days, because most would say Italy or France or maybe even the U.S., since we have a lot of vineyards as well. But this is entirely appropriate since this country is very much in the financial news lately. The number 2 country in terms of vineyard holdings right now is China. I guess they have close to 2 million acres planted right now, and they're right behind Spain, which is number 1 at 2.9 million. And that's according from a report from the International Organization of Vine and Wine. So they're an up-and-coming producer, and certainly given their currency adjustments, if we ever see exports of their wines, I haven't had any, so I don't know how good they are, but if we ever see exports, they're going to be priced pretty competitively, I'm sure.
So we might go back to the days when $2 Chuck really is $2.
Yeah, I mean, you very much could see that out of China, just obviously given their track record of how they manufacture and how they produce products. I wouldn't count them out on this equation.
The other part of it is, though, based on how they manufacture and how they produce, I'm not sure what would be in the wine.
Yeah, you have to worry about that a little bit. They don't quite have the, for better or worse, they don't quite have the regulations of the FDA looking over their shoulder like we do.
You know something, Mike, I think I could have guessed forever and never come up with China as being number 2.
Yeah, when I ran across this little factoid the other day, I thought it was something we definitely had to share on the air because, like I say, even people in the business, I don't think more than about 20-30% of them would get this one as correct.
I think it sounds like it might even be a Ron Siegel Radio date night trivia question in our future right there.
It may be. See if our listeners are actually paying attention to that.
Absolutely. You know, we've been talking a lot about the weather lately, and obviously we started off without even me looking at the note here on that. And, you know, the drought in California and the lack of water. Is there an effect of the water and in soil quality, and then obviously translating that into the wine quality?
Well, as it turns out, there is quite an effect on between the soil quality and the amount of rain you get and all that kind of stuff. You know, when it comes to growing most crops, you know, vegetables or fruits, I mean, we always hear the same thing. Make sure they have plenty of water, they have rich nutrients in fertile soil. Otherwise, you know, you'll get, you know, a poor crop or nothing will grow. And while this is true for, you know, 99% or more of the agriculture out there right now, the same is not true for wine grapes. And so, of course, that begs the question, you know, why does poor soil create some of the best wine? So the vines are kind of funny. Instead of putting their focus into leaves and shoots when they get really poor soil, they push their roots deep into the ground and search for more nutrients and water. So the rest of their energy goes straight into the grapes. And this is where it gets a little bit, you know, you really have to pay attention about this. But I'll skip over most of the science on this. But basically, it produces more sugar, basic sugar, and that sugar gets converted into those things that give us lots of flavors and aromas and aroma compounds in the grapes themselves. Thus, that translates into a tastier wine. So we always say, you know, I guess in the business, you know, basically abuse the grapes or you know and get great wine, or spoil the vines and get poor wine, essentially. So what you're looking for in this case is the wine grapes, the vines themselves, when they're planted in poor quality soil, all that vine wants to do is try to escape from that soil environment. In other words, they're trying to get somewhere else. That's why it spends so much focus and energy on the berries, on the grapes themselves. So the sweeter the grape, the more chances a bird will come along, eat it, and of course transport the seed along its little way until it decides to expel that, where the soil quality might be much richer. So the grapes basically sacrifice themselves for the greater good of the vine and the survival of their species, which is really an interesting kind of environmental adaptation, I believe.
That is interesting because wine grapes really don't follow anything that's traditional, right? I mean, we've talked about no water, we get a better grape. We talk about poor soil, we get a better grape.
Yeah, exactly. It really is a very much is a departure for just about all versus all other agriculture. Now let's back up for a second and say, you know, we are in a monumental drought right now in California. And there is some limit, of course, to how much you can stress the vines before they do, in fact, die. But in general, a fair amount of stress is good for the wine.
So what do you think, or what does history tell us about El Nino years when it comes to the wine vines?
Well, of course, the El Nino years are generally characterized by a lot of rain, cool weather, a short growing season, all those kinds of things. And so there are a couple of things that I look for in an El Nino year. One is the more pedestrian wine producers tend to make really awful wine. And I hate to say it that way, but they do. But the great wine producers, the people, the notable winemakers and the notable labels that really care about their brands and have the resources, of course, to make their brands the best and make some tough financial decisions about how much wine they make, those guys will always make great wine. And what you many times see in El Nino years is some of the big labels, I won't say big labels, but the more reputable labels, what they'll end up doing is they'll be producing wines that will be extremely memorable and sometimes better than some of our so-called great vintages, you know, when we have perfect weather and tremendous crops. And the euphemism there basically is during the great harvests, of course, just about anybody can fall off a turnip truck and make great wine. But you get into an El Nino year, and basically the winemaker owns. They earn their money. They at that point they many times produce some fabulous wines. The only thing you have to look for, of course, is they generally don't make as much wine as they usually make.
Interesting, great information. I was wondering if that was the case. It was going to be the winemakers are going to make the difference. They have to earn their keep in these. In the years when it's a little more challenging, just like every place. I mean, when the markets are volatile like they are right now, that's when you want a great advisor, when the real estate is in that way, and with winemakers as well. So great information. We appreciate it every Wednesday morning from Robert Mott. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, Barbara Gipson is going to join us and chat about what's going on in real estate in the Inland Empire. We're also going to talk about how to decide when it's time to buy a home. Should I wait to put that bigger down payment? A lot to cover still today. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
In the middle of our street, our house.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Attention homeowner 62 and older. Do you worry if you can afford to keep your home? Are you concerned about paying all your monthly expenses? Or do you simply wish you could live a better retirement? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you may qualify for a program that can help. It's called FHA Reverse Mortgage. It's insured by the federal government. You'll receive tax-free money. You aren't required to make any monthly mortgage payments, and you still own your home. Siegel Lending Team is a local leader in FHA reverse mortgages. Call free to get your free reverse mortgage guide, free custom quote. And when you call now, you can get all your questions answered by local experts. There is no monthly mortgage payment and tax-free money you can use for healthcare expenses, home improvements, or just live a better retirement with peace of mind. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-1990 to get your free reverse mortgage guide and quote. You'll also find them on the web at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL lendingteam.com. Call 800-306-1990 now.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime. 800-306-1990. 1-990-800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today brought to you by our friends over at VIP Mortgage. They believe it. When you are looking for a home, they look to make sure that it is a great experience for you, not a good experience. One of my pet peeves, I hate it when I go to a restaurant and they come out and the server says, "Is everything okay?" Well, is that what you were trying to do, is deliver okay service? Well, maybe if that's the case, then maybe they accomplished their mission. At VIP Mortgage, they don't want to deliver okay. That's not an acceptable answer. The questions that we're going to pose today: should I wait to put a larger down payment? I saw an article recently where a financial advisor, I think it was a certified financial planner on the East Coast, said you have to wait and save your money until you get 20% down payment. And it just baffled me that somebody that supposedly is a financial advisor would say that you have to wait till you have a 20% down payment.
It's ridiculous.
And then I saw, we might have even talked about it, the San Diego Union Tribune talking about the idea that you need a 20% down payment, and based on savings rates, it should take you about 18 years to get there. And I just thought maybe...
Okay.
I thought maybe they were smoking something down there when they mentioned that. Let's talk about numbers here just a little bit. And I know there are some areas that you can do this. Recent Freddie Mac article and our Freddie Mac posting, and I'm going to use their numbers, their rates. That way I don't have to give you all the disclaimers and waste a whole bunch of time with all the legal mumbo jumbo. So we're just going to talk. This is from Freddie Mac. So it's not qualifying or anything like that. $200,000 home. If you put a 5% down payment, obviously $10,000. 20% down payment, $40,000. Loan amount, $190,000 with 5% down, $160,000 with 20%. We're going to talk, I'm just going to use another Freddie Mac number, 4.5% interest rate. Yes, I know you can get a lot better than 4.5% now with our friends over at VIP Mortgage. Principal and interest payment, $962.70 with 5% down, or $810.70 with 20% down. Yes, you're going to probably have mortgage insurance with that smaller down payment. That's going to be $80, $81. So you got a total payment of $1,043 if you're doing 5% down, or $810 if you're doing 20% down. Difference, $232. Now, let's go and we're going to throw these numbers forward. CoreLogic recently projected that home values will increase by 4.3% over the next 12 months. Compare the extra cost of private mortgage insurance against projected appreciation. Think about that. The difference in payments, I just told you, that comes out to $2,793. Expected appreciation, $8,600. That means you've got $5,800 in appreciation in your pocket. What if you waited? That would not be in your pocket. You see what I'm saying? Now multiply that times 20 years at $5,800. I'm a little slow in math, but I think that comes out to about $116,000 over 20 years. And that's not saying if interest rates go up. Get in touch with a mortgage professional who builds their business on great counsel, great guidance. So you want a real estate professional, I'll introduce you to Barbara Gipson. She can help you with that part of it. Our friends over at VIP Mortgage can help you with the mortgage part of it. And that's how you build wealth in America, not by sitting and listening to some financial planner who gets paid to sell you stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. That's not the idea. Yes, I understand that Barbara's going to get paid to sell you a house and VIP Mortgages are going to get paid for their mortgage. That's not important. I don't care what any of them make. What's important to me, what should be important to all of them, and I know it is because I talk to them on a regular basis, what's important to them is that $5,800 that's going to go into your pocket on these hypothetical numbers every single year. $5,800 in your pocket. That's the important number. That is the Mortgage Minute today, again brought to you by VIP Mortgage. So we're going to chat a little bit. Barbara Gipson's been sitting here patiently.
Oh, I'm doing okay, Ron.
First time on radio?
Yes, indeed.
Me too.
Oh, this is kind of exciting.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. We just sit here, as Dr. Carson says, we're not doing brain surgery. We're just here to have a good time.
Have a good time.
Have a good time.
I'm all for it.
So how long have you been in the real estate industry?
Well, I got my license in 2001, so about 14 years full time.
2001 basically means that you got to see some of the good days, and you've seen some of the tough days.
Totally. I was in there and when I purchased my home in Rancho, yes. The bottom fell out.
The bottom fell out.
Yes, after I had purchased my property, I was,
So you're focused in the Inland Empire.
Love the Inland.
Rancho Cucamonga, for those people that don't know what the Inland Empire is.
Oh, the Inland Empire consisted of San Bernardino County and Riverside counties.
Okay.
And
so that's a pretty big area.
Yes, it is. And I checked the market on our regional MLS, and it shows that as of 7 days ago, we had about over 1,500 new listings.
So properties are moving out there, or at least they're getting listed.
They're getting listed, but we're also seeing like the prices, a price change. We had over about 1,400 within the last 7 days of decreases. So and properties back on the market fell out of escrow as of within 7 days. It was like 500 and some.
So that tells us a few things as I listen to the statistics.
Yes.
This is what you need to know about those statistics. 1,500 new properties on the market,
right.
1,400 roughly price decreases,
and over 500.
and 500 coming back on the market. So here's what that tells me, just as your consumer advocate.
Right.
So a lot of people are getting some guidance to where they should be listing their properties, and it's guidance to list property, not sell property.
Right.
I want properties. I don't know anybody that wants their home listed.
No.
They want them sold.
They want them sold.
They don't want to have to have the open house going through. They don't want to have people coming trampling through their property.
Right.
So we need to price those properties properly.
Totally, and that's what we see. I went to an open house the other day, last week, and it was very nice, but the property had the old cabinets, the old counters, but it was well overpriced. It was high.
So when it's well overpriced, I mean, it sounds good to find a real estate agent that'll list the property at whatever you want it to list at.
Right.
That sounds great. You feel good. Boy, they're going to list my house, and I've got a $400,000 house, and they're going to list it for me for $495,000.
Right.
Now, what we've learned from what you just shared with us is they listed it. Maybe they're good enough to even sell it.
Right.
But guess what? They missed the second sale.
There you go.
The second sale is to the appraiser.
There you go.
Right?
And so, when you get that appraisal and that appraisal comes in very low and you say, well,
or
what
at market,
happened?
Right?
Yes.
The appraiser's going to look at it because he's doing it on the behalf of, he's looking at, it's cold, and I'm going to just tell you the cold numbers of it. The appraiser doesn't care that it's your home.
Right.
They're looking at a piece of collateral for the investor.
Totally.
And they're going to look at the numbers, and they're going to try and say, okay, this is what that collateral is worth, and this is what you can lend on that collateral.
That's it.
Right? It's not about your home or anything along those lines. It's just, so if the property isn't worth it, now we find out that one of a few things happened. Either the lender initially didn't get the buyer qualified properly.
That's one.
That could be that part of that 500 people that fell out.
A major part of it.
Right? So we want you to get a hold of our friends over at VIP Mortgage so they can do that for you. It could be that the property, the agent sold it for too much money, and it doesn't appraise.
Right.
And you got to have, that's a key part of it. So you've got to have, how are we going to deal with that? So are we going to deal with it either by getting a larger down payment?
Right.
Because some people can, just because it doesn't appraise doesn't mean that you can't buy the house.
Right. Well, I think a lot of it is that you really need to educate the seller and the buyer what's going on in the market. That's the first step. I mean, you have to do your due diligence.
And you hit my favorite word from a real estate professional.
Yes.
Educate.
Yes, that's my whole goal is educating my clients, because when I'm in a transaction, I want my clients to really feel that, I have their back,
Sure.
that this property, when I present to them, I go and show them what this property is worth. If the offer is not accepted, they know, okay, let's move on to another house. Or even if the seller, I said, look, you're not going to get that amount of money because these are what
Here's the competition.
That's what's out there.
Take a look at the competition, because even if you find the right buyer, that's still got to appraise.
That's it. And it's just educating. And that's the main key to a successful closing through escrow. And everybody is happy.
Yeah, and that's what everybody's looking for. We're going to chat more with Barbara Gipson when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. Remember, you can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. If you miss any part of our broadcast, there is an archive button at ronsiegelradio.com, and the broadcast will be on YouTube as well. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation mortgage adoption plan. You be the judge if it's right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to map@ronsiegelradio.com, or call today Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporation and MLS 217037 and BCAL-BRE number 018694452.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com.
In these uncertain times, it's getting harder and harder to find a safe and effective method of investing. If you're looking at retirement options that can provide some real security for you and your family, look no further than a reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team. Hundreds of thousands of other Americans are already taking advantage of reverse mortgages. It allows you to eliminate monthly mortgage payments, pay some bills, or simply enjoy your retirement more. A government-insured reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team allows seniors to stay in their home and turn their equity into tax-free cash. To qualify, there are no credit score requirements, and remember, you continue to retain complete ownership of your home. Call 1-800-306-1990 to receive a new special edition handbook, Feature Reverse Mortgage Borrowers, plus an educational brochure absolutely free. Find out more. Call Siegel Lending Team today, 1-800-306-1990. SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or 1-800-306-1990.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
Check the Dash for Cash at Quality Chevrolet now through August 30th. Test drive any new Silverado, Camaro, or Cruze to see if you won. See dealer for details. Find new roads to Quality Chevrolet.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, the real-time real estate segment brought to you by the VIP Hero program. VIPHero.com. See if you qualify. $5,000 to $10,000 in rebates for our heroes when they buy, sell, or refinance a new home. There are discounts when they're looking to get some legal services. We've got the lawyers on board for that as well. VIPHero.com. Check it out. How to decide it's time to buy a home. That is our subject today. Well, here's the answer. There's no better time to buy a house than now. And I'm going to share with you that you always want to be looking. If you don't own a house, now's the time to buy a house. Do I know what prices in real estate are going to do next month, next year? I have an idea, but the bottom line is it doesn't matter. I promise you 25 years from now, real estate prices will be higher than they are today in Southern California. 50 years from now, they will be even higher than that. So you're not going to pick the top. We do know that now that there are bottoms in real estate, that real estate does have some volatility. We saw 2008, 2009. It is a big initial investment. And I say big initial investment because I was chatting with a lady online this morning who's talking about $800,000 as a down payment. That is a lot of money. But I suggest to you that if you are buying a $100,000 house with 3% down, $3,000, that is a lot of money because it's your castle. Your castle is the castle you live in. It doesn't matter what somebody else lives in. We talked earlier in the week that Donald Trump sold a $21 million apartment in Manhattan. It's irrelevant to most of us. Who cares? I mean, he's just a big mouth anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. The idea is it's your money, it's your investment, it's important to you. Can you handle that debt? That's what's important. That's how you decide whether the time is right. If you're a veteran, it's going to cost you less money to buy a house than it is to rent a house. Think about that. Can you handle the debt? There are some hidden expenses. Yes, if you own the property, you cannot call somebody to fix the sink. You're the one that gets to take care of that. But you also don't have to worry about somebody calling you and telling you that the rent is going to be increasing. Buying decreases mobility. So if you're a young person looking at a career that could take you to different parts of the world, maybe you need to consider whether the time is right to buy. But if you do it right, if you get a great agent to help you, you can always rent out that property and continue making money. Is it a hot market? I don't care. Really, when you think about it, a hot market means that you're trying to time things. If you're thinking about a house for yourself, the only thing that you want to time is it right for your family? Is it the right neighborhood? Is it the right location? Is it close to the right schools? Is it close to your jobs? That's what's important. And get yourself pre-approved. I look at some of the articles that come out and they talk about debt to income ratio, like you care about that. That talks about front end ratios, back end ratios, and loan to values. Find a great professional to help you with that. Get great counsel on it. That's what's important. That is the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the VIP Hero program. Speaking of great properties, great counsel, yes, we do have a featured property today. Gilda Johnson sent this one in to us. $415,000 in Anaheim Hills, 2 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms. I always like that because it bothers me when you have a half a bathroom because I don't know when I have to stop doing my business if it's only half the bathroom. Just something I can't figure out. Think about this one, 3.5% down payment, principal and interest. You got to add taxes and insurance and mortgage insurance and all that kind of good stuff. $1,888 a month, $1,888 in Anaheim Hills, 4.863 APR, all that good stuff. Got to give you that to keep the compliance people happy. Beautiful, light and bright upper end unit in Anaheim Hills, community of Laurelwood. Gilda has this. If you want more information on it, just give me a call. I'll put you in touch with her. That is our featured property today, and we're going to continue our conversation now. Barbara Gipson, Meridian Capital Real Estate.
Yes.
Serving out in the Inland Empire.
EIE.
You know, I'm looking at your card, Barbara, and it tells me that you're a realtor. It says a helping realtor, bgibsonproperties.com.
Yes.
You know what you missed on here, though?
Wow.
Educator. Right? Because you told me that.
I love to talk, though. So
you know something? When I was in college, every one of the professors loved to talk.
I know, but
I didn't want to listen to them, but they wanted to talk.
They would talk, you know.
But you know something? I love that because I share with folks all the time that that's the job of the real estate professional is to be an educator.
Yeah.
Not a salesperson.
Right.
If you go out there and do the right things for the right people with the right heart,
right.
You'll get taken care of.
Everything will be taken care of.
Right?
I mean, when I work with clients, it's a lot of people say, agents think, oh, it's about the money, how much money I'm going to make. No, it's about the client, the buyer, the seller. You know, sometimes it doesn't even work out that you will get a listing, that you would get that buyer, but at least you have educated them with some knowledge that they can take and decide, well, is it a right time or is it not a right time?
And that, you know, that was our what was that, a real-time real estate segment that we were just talking about that. Right. Is it the right time? You got to analyze these things. And all that we want to do on radio, because we really can't tell Mr. Jones specifically, is it the right time or wrong time for him?
Right.
So we want to give you the questions that you want to ask a great real estate professional, and then give me a call. I'll put you in touch with Barbara Gipson. She can help you out in the Inland Empire.
I sure will.
And you've got some great offers here.
Yes.
Wow, I'm looking at this coupon that you sent in to us. $500 credit successfully closing escrow. Love it.
Oh, I take care of my clients.
Then that's what it's all about, right? I mean,
take care of them. Yes.
Because I've used this in every business I've had, and I've been in the import-export business and financial services at Merrill Lynch, and one of the things that I see about the information that you're sharing with me is that you kind of come to the realization that there's not one transaction that's going to allow you to retire.
Right.
So you got to keep doing it right and try and get some referrals from somebody because you did a good job for somebody.
And that's, with my track record, my closing rates are very high. After we close, I get referrals. Sometimes they work out. Sometimes they have to wait.
Sure.
Because
Put them on a game plan.
Yes, so their credit might be an issue. It could be many things, but if it's not, I stay in touch with them. I call them to see how the kids and the family and everybody is doing. But it develops into a, like a family environment, client. We
makes it more fun, doesn't it?
Love each other, and then they like my services in reference to what I have shared with them.
So what's your day like as a realtor?
Let's see. I have to have my coffee first. I had to have me a cup of coffee, and then I check all my emails and text messages, and because my phone does not go off until 11 o'clock p.m.
Wow.
But
it's just an easy day.
Think about it. We have buyers as tech savvy. That's all they do is, if they're interested in a house, they will search, and sometimes they might want to call and see what's going on.
Must be old people like me that are doing the calling because the young people are all texting.
But they're texting, but you'll be surprised. They want to know because sometimes, what's out there on the internet is not actually what they know what's going on the property, because as realtors, we get more information about that property. So I turn my phone off at 11. I know that's not a good...
No, I mean, that makes total...
a lot of people say 6 o'clock and that's it, but no, I figure...
Well, that's your VIP service.
That's my service. My VIP is returning calls, returning text messages, returning email calls. I do not want my clients have to search for me.
It's a scary proposition. Buying a house is scary.
Yes, I want them to feel that they can call me anytime. And they know that if I'm in a meeting, if I'm in class, because I'm always educating myself.
Sure.
Then I would send them a message. I'm in class. I'll call you when I'm out.
Absolutely.
I always stick. That's my number one pet peeve in the business. because I hate it when I'm online and I'm trying to get some information. No one calls back. No one. It just burns me.
Voicemails and those phone trees, all that stuff is enough to drive you crazy.
Oh, totally. So put yourself in the buyer and the seller's point. This is the biggest decision that they have to make in reference to purchasing or selling. So why not give them the VIP service? They deserve it.
Makes total sense.
They should expect it on every level.
And the bottom line is, I think I'm sure that you concur when I was sharing earlier, it doesn't matter what the property value is.
It does not.
Because it's your castle.
That's it.
Right? It doesn't matter. Great information. Hoping I want to mention, if you want to meet Barbara, give me a call. I'd be happy to put you in touch. Don't forget that we're going to be out at the car show supporting the Anaheim Police Mounted Unit horse demonstration. Some of the proceeds are going to go to the Mounted Unit and Chalk Children. Also, be sure to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A very big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today, and of course a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And my motto, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
XEPE 1700 AM Kita Bata Lipongan.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1700.